One Piece is my favorite show of all time, and if you're watching this video, the same is probably true for you. And if it's not, what are you even doing? Since I've been watching One Piece for a very long time, I figured might as well make a tier list about every arc. So without further ado, let's get into it. Starting off week with Romance Dawn. Yeah, this arc is nothing special. It's pretty mediocre. There's not really much to say about the earlier arcs until Baratie, because nothing much goes on. Romance Dawn, we're introduced to Zoro, Luffy, Captain Axehand Morgan, Kobe, Helmeppo, you know, those guys. And while the arc isn't bad, it's not good either. It's entertaining, I guess. It passes the time, but it doesn't grab you. It doesn't hook you onto the show. And for that reason, I'll have to give it a C tier, because it is the first arc. So C tier for classic. And then moving on to Orange Town. Orange Town is basically the same as Romance Dawn in the fact that both of them don't have any substance at all. They're not bad arcs, so to say, but they don't have anything going for them. They don't feel special. But yeah, not a bad arc. Orange Town is pretty funny. It's got some great moments, like the one with the dog defending the house or the store or whatever. Buggy was a pretty fun villain, but it's hard to take him seriously when Buggy is the main villain of the arc. I'm gonna have to put Orange Town in D tier maybe. Yeah, I'll put Orange Town in D tier. And that takes us to the next arc, Syrup Village. Now I'm about to say some shit that makes absolutely no sense, but stay with me. Syrup Village is the worst good arc in One Piece. And what that means is the arc is entertaining, the arc is alright, but it's barely alright. You know, it's a bit too long. The setup is way too long for what the arc's worth. It's about the same length as Baratie, and it accomplished like half of what Baratie manages to accomplish. It's not a horrible arc, but it really is just not what it should be. It should have been a lot shorter. Usopp is my favorite character in all of One Piece, and even still, it's tough to love this arc. So I'm gonna put Syrup Village in D tier. And finally, we're on to Baratie, the first arc that makes you feel some type of way. This arc is amazing. I love Baratie. It is short but sweet. It is amazing. We're introduced to Sanji. We get his backstory with Zeph. Absolutely phenomenal. Mihawk comes. He fights Zoro. Absolutely amazing character moment for Zoro. He declares he's never going to lose again. The fight was excellent. One of my favorite fights in all of One Piece personally. We also have Don Krieg and Jin. While not amazing villains, they still do serve a good purpose. Some great moments from all Straw Hats, and I really enjoyed this arc overall. So I'm gonna have to give Baratie an A tier. I know some people might say that's a little too high, but I don't care. Baratie is an A tier for me. It has no flaws. There's nothing wrong with it. Then we have Arlong Park, an absolutely phenomenal arc. I fucking love Arlong Park. The build up to the arc itself was fantastic. Nami betrays the crew. She goes to Arlong, and we find out why she's doing all this, because her village is under Arlong's control, and you know, Arlong hates humans and shit. Arlong himself, he's a great villain. He's the best pre-time skip villain. No, sorry, that's fucking crazy to say. He's the best East Blue villain, which, I mean, the standards are pretty low, but hey, it's a thought that counts. The arc itself, fantastic. Great character moments from Nami. Great character moments from Luffy. The Straw Hats walking to Arlong Park itself, beautiful. The fights, beautiful. And yeah, that's enough glazing for one arc. Arlong Park is an A tier. And then on to the next arc, Logue Town. Now there isn't really much to say about Logue Town. We're introduced to Smoker and Tashigi, and Buggy comes back and he's like executing Luffy and shit. And then Dragon comes out of nowhere and saves him. And that's pretty much all that happens in the arc. And then, you know, the Straw Hats go to the Grand Line and shit. Tashigi and Smoker are both characters that you thought were going to be important to the story, but then they have like literally no relevance in the future. So that was a big letdown. The arc itself, not really much goes on in it. It's entertaining though, it's pretty fun to watch. So I'll just give it a C tier. Because there's not much to say about it, to be honest. I don't even know what to say about it. Alright then, on to Little Garden. Little Garden, I don't even know why Little Garden is considered an arc, but it is. It's just the two giants fighting. Mr. 3 comes around, he freezes them. It's nothing much to say about it. It's just I'm going to plop it in C tier, because what the fuck am I supposed to talk about? Next up, we have Drum Island. An arc that is not good is all I'm going to say. It is carried by Chopper's backstory. Nothing else is good about this arc. Nami gets sick and the crew has to find a doctor, so they go to Drum Island. It's a pretty small town ruled by King Wapol, one of the shittiest villains in this story. And he's not supposed to be a villain you take seriously, but that doesn't mean it's acceptable to have a shitty villain. But yeah, this arc is pretty mediocre. Chopper's backstory is fantastic though, one of my favorite backstories in One Piece. And yeah, that's all. I'm just gonna put this shit in C tier. I don't really know what to say about Drum Island. And then we have the magnificent Alabasta arc. Oh my goodness. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Alabasta is easily an S tier arc. I don't care what anybody says. Oh no, that's too high. That's too high. I would put it A tier. Shut the fuck up and listen to me. Crocodile is the best villain in all of One Piece. The only person you can even compare him to is Doflamingo, alright? You could have said Kaido before, but after the shit that happened in Wano, hell no. Kaido's out of the picture. Crocodile Amazing villain. He is fucking badass. Everything about this dude is badass. His lackeys, badass. Dawes Bones, badass. Mr. 2, Bon Clay, badass. I don't care what anybody says. He's a badass dude. Mr. 3, the wax guy, he's not bad, but who cares about that? Fantastic arc overall. The build up to it. Vivi, excellent character. All the little things we've learned about Alabasta, the adventure we have, all the way from Reverse Mountain, meeting Vivi, to actually going to Alabasta and fighting Crocodile. Crocodile literally one-shotting Luffy. Sanji, my goat, Mr. Prince, beautiful. Oh my god, bro, I will glaze the hell out of this arc for all of eternity. If I get started by Alabasta, I won't stop. All right, let's just speed run it. The fights are amazing. Zoro versus Dawes Bones, Mr. 1, excellent fight. Sanji versus Bon Clay, excellent fight. Usopp had a great fight too. Even Nami had a great fight. And did Chopper have a fight? I don't even remember. But yeah, Alabasta, beautiful arc. Great conclusion. Vivi is one of the best characters in this series. Bite my ass. The one thing I've got to say about this is the whole Koza and King Cobra side story. That shit was kind of lackluster. I didn't get the point of it. But alright, whatever. It's still an S tier arc. I don't give a shit. Talk to the wall. If you're going to argue against me with Alabasta being lower than S tier, you're going to be talking to a wall because I don't care. S tier arc, easy peasy. On to Jaya, a pretty short arc. Nothing goes on in this either. It's just Bellamy getting his ass whooped by Luffy, and that's kind of it, to be honest. We also have that guy that's no one's descendant or some shit. Nobody cares about him. I don't care about him. It's just a prequel to Skypiea. Oh, we're introduced to Blackbeard for the first time here. Holy shit, I forgot about that. That was great. Not that bad overall. It's just an introduction to Blackbeard and to Skypiea. So I'm just gonna put it in C tier because nothing to hate about it, but nothing to love either. I could see people putting in B tier, and I can also see people putting it in D tier. I'm just gonna personally put it in C tier. And then we have Skypiea. This is a really controversial arc for a lot of people. So either you hate it or you love it, and I love Skypiea. Personally, I feel like if Skypiea's pacing was a little better, this could have very easily been an S tier arc, but the pacing's a little wanky. That's a weird word, but the pacing is a little off. Skypiea is an excellent arc. Enel, great villain. Dude, Enel had so much aura as a villain. You know, when he's on screen, you can feel the tension in the air. You could feel that this guy can vaporize the entire Straw Hat crew in any given moment. He's just that guy. Skypiea itself was a cool ass place. I loved it personally. A lot of great moments in this arc. Especially my favorite moment in this arc is easily when Sanji gets vaporized by Enel and he's still standing up and he's like, I needed a light. That's basically Sanji's nothing happened moment, and nobody talks about it for some reason because literally everyone skipped Skypiea. I don't even know why people skip this arc. This arc is fantastic. Go watch Skypiea if you skipped it. And another thing about Skypiea is a lot of people complain it has nothing to do with One Piece, the world of One Piece, which is like, it has a lot of relevance and at the same time it has no relevance, but who cares? I'm talking too much about this. Putting Skypiea in the A tier, baby. Naturally, right after Skypiea, we have one of the worst arcs in the entire series, Long Ring Long Land. I mean, what was the point of this arc? What was this meant to achieve? It's fun, but like, it just feels like filler. It basically is filler, to be honest. The Davy Bag fight holds no relevance to the story. For now, will it ever? I have no idea. Foxy sucked. It just felt pointless, to be honest. The only saving grace is the end, where Aokiji pulls up and fodderizes the entire Straw Hat crew. If it wasn't for that, this arc would be F tier, but for now, it's D tier. Only because of that, though. And finally, on to the best arc in the entire series and quite possibly all of fiction, Water 7. Now I'm counting Water 7, Enies Lobby, and Post Enies as one arc because I don't see why people don't do that. It's one arc, and this arc is literally perfect. All right, there is nothing I can complain about with this arc. Everything start to finish is absolutely fantastic. Now there is genuinely way too much to discuss to be able to keep it short, and I want to keep this video short, so I'm not going to go into too much detail. Just know that the Usopp character writing is as good as it gets. The Robin side story is as good as it gets. Sanji was at its peak here. Soge King pulls up. Chopper's Monster Point. The Going Merry breaking down. Robin's I Wanna Live. The CP9 versus the Straw Hats. The Frankie family whooping Usopp. Like, it's just too good. It is way too good. One Piece can't get better than this. It's just way too good. Easy S tier. Easy S tier. And right after that masterclass of an arc, we have Thriller Bark, one of the worst arcs in the series. There's nothing going for this arc either. It is just boring. It's kind of like Long Ring Long Land, except it's 10 times longer, and it's just not good. Usopp's fight was probably the only good thing about this arc, aside from Kuma just showing up at the end for no reason and whooping everybody. That was the only saving grace of this arc. Other than that, it was horrible. Like, it's just boring. Gecko Moria is a boring villain. He's a good character, but a boring ass villain. I don't want to hear about Thriller Bark. This shit is going in D tier. And after Thriller Bark, it's Saobody Archipelago. Like, Thriller Bark is squished between two goats, right? Saobody is amazing. It's short, but it's amazing. So much shit happens in this 20 episode arc. Introduced to Rayleigh, Kizaru shows up after Luffy punches the shit out of a celestial dragon, and then Kizaru pulls up on a cannonball and runs the gauntlet on every single Worst Generation member. It's just a clean sweep. All the Straw Hats disappear one by one because Kuma pulls up again to run it back. God damn, this arc was good. Putting this shit in A tier. And then we have Amazon Lily. I'm not even going to say anything about Amazon Lily. I'm just going to put it in D tier because that's what it deserves. This arc is horrible. And coming on after that is Impel Down, which is just set up for Marineford, but it's still on its own a pretty good arc. It's a bit too long in my opinion. It should not be as long as it is, but it's still pretty good. Magellan wasn't a great villain. I don't really call him a villain. There's too much going on in this arc to make any sense, but that's the whole point of it, I guess. The prison break was pretty cool. Bond Clay sacrificing himself, great moment. Blackbeard showing up last second. It's just a lot of shit going on. I'm just gonna put it in B tier straight up. Could have been better if it was shorter, but it's alright. And then right after that, we have the GOAT arc, just the pinnacle of One Piece. All of pre-time skip was building up to Marineford, and it did not disappoint. This is just the biggest war ever. Every single character we've met is just fighting for their life. It's amazing. Whitebeard is a GOAT. Ace, and he's not a GOAT, but hey, he's there. This big ass war happens. We see some of the hypest fights in the series, some of the hypest moments in the series, and at the end, Ace and Whitebeard both die, and then Shanks pulls up and he stops the war. Great arc. S tier easily. And then we have Fishman Island, F tier arc. Literally, this arc has no redeeming qualities. There is nothing redeeming about this arc. It's just straight ass. 50 episodes of straight trash. Sanji losing blood because he was horny is a legit plotline in this arc. Alright, that's all you need to know. This arc was ass. F tier. And right after that horrible arc, we get another shitty ass arc, Punk Hazard. I mean, this arc, it's just not good, to be honest. It's just set up for Wano. Not really only set up for Wano, it's set up for Dressrosa and Wano. Yeah, this arc's horrible. I mean, it's not that bad. Caesar as a villain, he sucks. There are some great moments. Law versus Virgo, great fight. Zoro versus Monet, that was a pretty cool fight. And I don't even remember anything else. Smoker was here for some reason. I don't know what he was doing here. He just got his ass whooped by Doflamingo. And then Aokiji saves him, and that's it. So I'm just gonna put this arc in D tier. And then finally, we have the first post-time skip arc that isn't utter trash, Dressrosa. Now, Dressrosa has its flaws. It's unreasonably long. It has way too much bloat, and, you know, but still, it's still pretty solid. It has Doflamingo, one of the best villains in the entire series. He's my GOAT personally, right after Crocodile. And yeah, this arc is amazing. So much shit goes on in it. Usopp finally gets a good fight after who knows how long, and it's the only good moment he has all of post-time skip, which is tragic, but hey. So, Luffy versus Doflamingo, excellent. Law versus Doflamingo, excellent. Fujitora was excellent. Law's backstory, one of the best backstories in the entire series. Shout out Corazon. Yeah, this arc was pretty solid. I don't like the Coliseum part of it at all. It's meh. But despite all its flaws, it's still between a B and an A tier for me. Another thing I want to say is Rebecca sucks. I don't know why Oda keeps introducing these lame-ass princesses that have to be saved. Like, Rebecca is just horrible. Remove Rebecca and literally nothing happens to the story. Just remove her. She was a waste of time. Kyros was a cool guy though. Shout out Kyros. Not Rebecca though. And then we move on to Zoe, which is a pretty solid arc. It's short, but it's pretty solid. Nothing much to complain about Zoe. Actually, yeah, there is a bunch to complain. I didn't like most of the characters we saw there. I didn't like Pedro. I didn't like Carrot either. I didn't like any of the minks except for Dogstorm and the other one. Pedro is like, why is Pedro a character? He was introduced to die basically, and even his death was kind of lame because he just blew himself up for pretty much no reason. But whatever, man. That's for the next arc. Zoe was pretty solid. It had one of the best moments in the series with Ryza was safe. That shit was fire. I don't remember anything else about this arc, so I'm just gonna put it in B tier because I remember enjoying it. And right after Zoe is Whole Cake Island. I don't know how to feel about Whole Cake Island because it has some of the highest highs in the series and has some of the lowest lows in the series, kind of like Wano and Dressrosa. Post time skip Oda just forgot how to keep consistent arcs. He either just puts all of his effort into it or just absolutely no effort at all. But yeah, Whole Cake Island was pretty fire. Sanji fans were eating good. A lot of character development for him, but it didn't even matter because he gets to Wano and he's tripping balls over women again. I don't know, man. But still, a lot of great moments from Sanji and Luffy. Big Mom as a villain, I don't really like Big Mom that much, but she was great here. BABYYYY was also there. He was doing a lot of good shit. I enjoyed BABYYYY a lot. A lot of great moments in this arc. Katakuri versus Luffy again, a fantastic fight. Kind of long. It was a bit too long, but hey, it was good. That's all that matters. And then yeah, once again, Pedro blowing blowing himself up. Like, what the hell was the point of that, man? That just felt super forced. I didn't care for Pedro before he died. I didn't care for Pedro after he died. Like, kill characters that people care about, man. Alright, but whatever. In conclusion, Whole Cake Island is an A tier arc, even though it has some horrible moments, like when Big Mom's just chasing the Straw Hats, screaming wedding cake over and over again. Oh yeah, I just remembered, Jinbei denouncing his loyalty to Big Mom was excellent. Brook being the MVP of the entire arc was also fire. Wano, on the other hand, is not an A tier. I reread it recently. Like I said, I made a video about it, but I just can't like this arc, man. It had way too much build up, literally from Punk Hazard was being built up. Even though the arc has some excellent moments, some of the best moments in the series, it's just way too little for how long the arc is, for how long it was built up. It has more bad moments, it has more mediocre moments than it does good moments, and it's just like, why, man? Oda fumbled so hard. Introducing Big Mom to Wano was such a bad idea. Like, Big Mom did nothing but become an unlikable character. She was just annoying. She had her stupid mothering mode, she had her stupid amnesia. It just didn't make any sense. And then the worst generation were there too, like Hawkins, Scratchman Apu, and I don't know, some other guy, but who cares about them? Hawkins didn't do shit. He just came to Wano to die. It didn't make any sense to me why Hawkins was still loyal to Kaido. Like, he didn't have any reason to be fighting his life out here for Kaido, who he said he wasn't even loyal to, but he was just doing anyway, and he died fighting for a guy he didn't even care about. So that's some bullshit right there. The scabbards weren't utilized properly. Like, all of this build up, we knew Kinemon for like 500 plus chapters, and it's just like, it doesn't feel like that, you know? I don't know, man. This arc, I don't even know how to feel about it. It's just not A tier. Even though there's some great moments like Odin's flashback, the fights are excellent, Gear 5 is excellent. Just so many bad moments, like when Luffy was in the prison and he's just training there for who knows how long. It just felt so forced. And then Act 3 was so fucking long for no reason. Like, the Toby Roper were useless. So many just fodder, people taking up screen time. Usopp was so annoying in Wano. Oh my goodness, bro. He was just taking up so much screen time, just screaming for no, he had no redeemable moments in Wano. He was just straight ass. Nami was also super annoying. Tama, Usopp, and Nami, when they were riding that dog thing, that was like, it felt like every week we just got a chapter of them screaming on that dog. That was half the chapter, and that shit was just pissing me off to the max. And then Yamato was also a character I don't care about at all. She's just like, what? She has no personality basically, and she makes no sense at all either. Why introduce her if she's not even, I don't know, bro. Whatever. I'll just put Wano in B tier and call it a day, because if I truly ranted about Wano, this would be a 30-minute video about some bullshit. So yeah, Wano B tier. Moving on to the next one. Okay, finally we're on the best post-time skip arc, probably the only flawless post-time skip arc. I don't know what the hell was going on with Oda before Egghead, but Egghead is where he truly peaked in post-time skip. He forgot how to write, I guess. I thought Oda didn't have it in him anymore until we got to Egghead, and he showed us who he was, man. He brought back that pre-time skip Oda. Egghead is absolutely fantastic, bro. I don't even know how to describe it. It has some excellent moments, some beautiful moments. All right, Shanks one-shots Kid. Reading that shit live was fucking insane. I don't even know how to describe it, but that was top 3 moments of all time reading One Piece. Blackbeard beats Law. That shit was crazy out of nowhere. Garp pulls up to Pirate Island. He fights Aokiji. It's just so much crazy shit going on, and all the while this is happening, Luffy and the Straw Hats, they just go to Egghead Island, meet Vegapunk, and we learn about Kuma's backstory, and then CP0 shows up, and then Kizaru shows up, and then the Celestial, what the fuck is it? The Elder Stars show up, and it's a big ass war, and it's so crazy, and we're just learning more about the world and shit. Egghead Island is amazing, absolutely amazing. Kuma's backstory, my favorite backstory in all of One Piece. I don't give a shit. Kuma is my favorite, one of my favorite characters. It's just amazing. So yeah, Egghead, easy S tier arc. I don't care. Some people say it's ass. I don't care. It's not ass. It's amazing. Egghead is an S tier arc. All right, and let's pray to God that Elbaf is just as good or might be even better. Let's hope Elbaf does not disappoint us. All right, let's pray that one day when people make new One Piece tier lists, Elbaf will be on the S tier. All right, and that concludes the video. This shit is way too long. I have no idea how I'm gonna edit this, and yeah, that's all. See you next week for when I upload my next video. It's probably gonna be about the Cyberpunk anime, and then one after that week is gonna be about the Cyberpunk game. So stay tuned for that.